Welcome to This Week in the SFL, and no, that is not Pauly Truth or Paul Sarp or whatever he wants to call himself. It's Mike O'Neill, the new co-host of This Week in the SFL. Pauly has a new job. Congrats to Pauly. Can't be here as early on Mondays, so you get the 4K23 king himself, Mike O'Neill. What's going on, Mike?
What's going on, Cam? Yeah, super excited to be here. Pauly did a great job last season, and all I can hope is to kind of follow in those footsteps a little bit, leading everything up. Don't be afraid, though, SFL Nation, because Pauly will be back for the game.
Oh, yeah. Paul Sarp will be here for the call. Atlanta, D.C. coming up a little bit later. And so we're super excited for that. But for now, we've got to catch you up on everything you may have missed in week 2. Before we get there, let us know how we're sounding. Let us know how all the audio is. Give us a shout. I can see already that our music is not shining through, so that's always terrific. That's just the way it goes sometimes, right, Mike?
That's it. Hey, we're limping through week 1, but or I guess week 1 technically of this week in the SFL, but week 2 of the SFL. But hey, we're making it. We're making our way through.
Yeah, I really don't know why that is not working, and that's really nice. I love it.
Just a nice little treat for SFL Nation.
Sultan, there you go. Your voices are the only music we need. Well, that's so nice of you.
That's heartwarming.
It really is. And, yeah, I don't get it. Folks. So I guess Mike and I get to enjoy the music and no one else gets to. So let's get into it. The headlines for week number 2. We start in Canton and Denver, where the Kickers stole the show in overtimes for Canton and Los Angeles victories. Arizona has rolled to a 2-0 start. They clobbered Tulsa, and Ashley Jackson shined. Holy moly! Skippy with a 99.99 super chat. Have a great show, my son. Thanks, Mom. And as Hunter says, sheesh. Hopefully that can get our music back. And Minnesota and Alamo City put on a show. I'm going to start calling him fourth quarter Fennec, O'Neill. If he keeps having performances like that, Alamo City comes back to beat Minnesota. What caught your eye in week 2?
Man, I think just the fact that the overtimes, right? Like we had 2 games go into overtime. I think that we had so many close games this week. I think that people are really, starting to find their footing. Coaches are starting to find their footing, and I think it's really showing on the field, Cam, for sure.
Well, I tried to fix the music, but it's still not working. So there you go. Those are your week 2 headlines, but enough of that. Let's get to the highlights, and let's start in Baltimore, where the defending champs, trying to shake off the rust early on, get mossed by Harish Prasad as Carolina goes up 6-0. That is your Retroid Great Hands catch of the week, and Ike McBride's got a stiff arm to boot. It's 14-6 just before the half. And it was all Carolina in the first half. Under a minute to go, Jack Wigmore fires it over to the far side, and Davidson Joseph takes it away. Warren Murray has to drag him down. But too little too late, Carolina settles for a field goal. And then on the next possession, still in the second quarter, Shravan Prasad O'Neill with the interception. It was just a disastrous first half for the Vultures.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit of a slow start for Baltimore, but again, it's no panic. This is the Baltimore Vultures we're talking about. I mean, Carolina really just came out. You saw in that first highlight, the pass protection was great for Carolina. They were really just. The game plan was efficient. Ike McBride was efficient. They looked really good on offense. They were, mixing it up and everything. And Baltimore really just didn't have an answer defensively until later in the game. But, the play from Davidson Joseph was really what stood out for me. He had the fourth quarter pass breakup. And, I just, when you're running the ball like this, Cam, how do you stop that?
Yeah, Baltimore started the second half strong with the Caesar Ackerman touchdown, but Ike McBride putting grown men in body bags. 27-13 late in the third quarter. Look at this doozy. Jack Wigmore tried to get rid of it, but there he is again. Trevon Prasad on the sack brings up 3rd and long for the Vultures. Thomas Paternity trying to find answers. Look at Daley Holder in motion here. 3rd down and 14. Baltimore needs an answer late in the third quarter. Wigmore, clean pocket, looking around, and Daley Holder. Oh, my goodness, what a beautiful adjustment to the football. And Baltimore is starting to cook just a little bit. Handoff, T. Roy Gaines. He's in the hall. He's breaking tackles, and he's got Baltimore within 7, 27-20. Late in the third quarter, Vultures starting to make a comeback, but Carolina, 5-minute drive because of plays like this, Mike, basically sealed it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, these drives, these long, efficient drives, we saw this the entire game from Carolina. And look, Matt South was just excellent. Really, everybody on that offense was really, really good. You could see right here Baltimore trying to come back and trying to do it. But here is the play that I believe is ultimately, in my book, the play of the game. The fact that, Davidson Joseph comes in on this and really, really makes a beautiful pass breakup. You see him come across right there, diving, puts his hand out in front, and really just shuts it down. Davidson Joseph, in my book, the player of the game. I know that there was a lot of offensive tools, but yeah, I think it was the defense that really sealed the deal for Carolina.
It was 1st and goal at the 5, and then it ended up being 4th and goal at the 3 as Baltimore was unable to make it happen inside the 10-yard line. And that was really the difference. First 0-2 start, Mike, since season 11 for the Vultures. What have you seen out of Baltimore that has you is giving you pause about where the Vultures are at right now in season 21?
Well, I don't think there's anything for panic. I don't think there's anything. I haven't seen anything for panic because at the end of the day, Baltimore's been playing they've been playing good football. They've been playing balance. It's not like they've been playing bad. But the difference is this. The difference is they don't have anybody's number right now. It's so early. They don't have this guy. We know what Baltimore can do with the right amount of tape, right? We know what they can do looking at other teams. There is no need for panic if you're Baltimore right now. This is a franchise team that has proven to always rise to the top, and I think that they're going to get back into the pack, sooner rather than later. I think there's no panic here if you're a Baltimore fan. I think they're going to continue to do what Baltimore does. 0-2 means nothing to this franchise.
I think it's worth noting, Mike, it should be worth noting that the defensive line has 0 sacks. They only have 1 sack in total from Alvin Mack this season, and the defense has forced 0 turnovers in 2 games. What is the fear? What is the fear for opposing offenses right now as Baltimore's defense is looking for answers and looking for solutions? All right. Let's go into the overtime games now to Denver. Los Angeles and Denver early on. Tazzy Blackwell, what a performance for her on this day. Gets a sack there. More from her later. Los Angeles' Sully Richardson getting the ball moving. Chris Lee down the field answers a Bailey O'Shaughnessy touchdown with one of their own. LA cuts the deficit to 10-7 late in the first quarter. What a welcome sight. LA's first touchdown of the season after getting just 3 points in the week. This may be the best run of the week, Mike. Oh, I don't know what you do with Bailey O'Shaughnessy. Touchdown, Denver. They go up 10.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, Bailey O'Shaughnessy really, really looked good. Not taking anything away from LA, obviously, with the victory. But, I mean, look, when you've got the team making plays like this, we saw Chris Lee on that super long touchdown pass. I mean, it looks like LA just came out a little bit more put together than in week 1, right, Cam?
Yep, TD Jack with that interception. Watch this beauty. Logan Jack on a setup screen, gets a couple of blocks, gets out of bounds to help Sid O'Lindy get a field goal on the board before the half, 17-17. Let's flash forward to late in the fourth quarter where Sully Richardson's down 4, and he puts it on his receiver. Los Angeles retakes the lead. That is Jack Flash, and the bench is loving
flash
it.
Forward.
like a water boy sideline. Slap hands, but too much Bailey O'Shaughnessy late trying to get into field goal range, and Bailey O'Shaughnessy would get him there to tie the game.
Again, Bailey O'Shaughnessy really putting the team on their back. And this is just what Denver's been doing. And props to Denver coming back and really showing that they're a team that can hang in there in these battles. And again, LA really just, I think both of these teams were pretty evenly matched, right? They both had good game plans. And this one went into overtime, which was great.
Garfield's game tire is good. LA gets the ball. They want the ball, and Sully Richardson doing more great work over the outstretched arms of the defender, Elsie Pryor, nearly 200 yards on the night. More love from the LA bench. 2 minutes into overtime, Richardson trying to get them into field goal range, and Sully would be successful. Hits Terrence Weary to set up Sid O'Lindy for the potential game-winning field goal, and Sid would deliver from 29 yards out to give LA the victory. That field goal is good, 30-27. That's a W for Los Angeles. And we move to Canton, where the Canton Classics host the Louisiana Revolution. Louisiana over-pursues in the first quarter, and Robert Johnson gets a touchdown. Canton goes up 7-0. Look at the crowd loving it at Fatherhood Festival Field. More Robert Johnson in the first quarter. Just at the end of the first, put Canton up 14-0. They set the tone on this one, Mike, before Louisiana got their balanced attack going.
Yeah, the biggest thing was Rojo, man. On the ground, Rojo, 35 carries, 177 yards in this game. I mean, like, that really was the difference maker. I think both quarterbacks were pretty efficient, and you'll see that, moving forward as it goes on with the highlights here. But, yeah, I think both teams really did a good job. Canton really came out of the gate swinging.
What a drive for Louisiana in response. Liam Hammer with that last catch. Dwayne Salmons gets a first down for Louisiana. They're at the 30. Next play, Tommy Utah looking and finds Lyric Da Vinci inside the 15 down to the 9. Look at all the different bodies getting touches for Louisiana, looking sharp in those road all whites. And then second and goal at the 6. Salmon's going to punch it in. Huge answer. This game really could have gotten away from Louisiana, but Salmon's puts the Revolution down just 7. Now down 17-10. Tommy Utah looking for a response, and King Jamal takes it away for the Classics to keep them ahead in the third quarter.
Yeah, King Jamal with a great pick there, really just undercutting the receiver on that one, and that's what Canton's been missing, right? Look at last season, look at this season now. Their defense has been pretty good over the past few seasons, but their offense, I mean, they've been missing a full performance, all around the board from all three areas, and it looks like they got it in this one, Cam, for sure.
More high fives from the crowd, 20-13. Canton leading. Scar Patterson scrambling around, and he finds his former teammate, Gary Clem, who's now in Louisiana. He also had a fumble recovery in this game. Clem was everywhere. That sets up the Revolution inside the red zone. Tommy Utah finds Liam Hammer down at about the half-yard line with 5 minutes to go. It was a close call, but the right one. So Louisiana would have to punch it in 20 seconds later. It's Chris Grant Jr., the dynamic duo. Louisiana and Canton are now tied at 20. Last play of regulation, Scar Patterson looking, and it is Dante Grimm with the deflection. We go to OT again. What a play at the end of regulation here from Grimm.
Yeah, Grimm really does a good job right here, just getting a hand up. And I mean, that's a tough ask for somebody in his position, but really does a really good job putting his team on his back and coming up to help take this into overtime.
Patterson, huge pickup there to Mike Twinscrew as Canton, just like Los Angeles, got the ball, received the ball, matriculated down the field into scoring position. Patterson, Robert Johnson, this is what they were missing in that offense last season. They finally have a balanced attack in both levels, Mike, and Robert Johnson had a heck of a day.
And that's why you stay with
Absolutely. Like, I mean, really had a great, again, like I said, 35 carries, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. And you know what's even scarier about this, Cam, is the fact that they have Scar Patterson in there now to balance Rojo out.
Rob M snuck it through that left upright, almost let it go beyond the upright, and Canton gets the win, 23-20 over the Louisiana Revolution. Canton's had a lot of stuff going on off the field, Mike. They've partnered with Des Bryant. They've got a brand new head coach. They've been doing a lot of things right off the field, but they've really needed a jolt on the field, especially after having the worst scoring offense last season. And while they're not lighting up the scoreboard right now, Mike, they lost a pretty tight game to Jacksonville, and they won a pretty tight game against Louisiana. You can see that their identity is still defense, but they're moving the football now at a much better clip.
I agree. And you whenever you bring in a quarterback like Scar Patterson that is known for being able to air it out and toss the rock around like he does, I think that's a really, really good move for Canton. And the balance is real right now with Rojo running the way he is. If he continues to run the way that he's running, I mean, Canton's going to look really, really good. Fun fact about this, neither of these quarterbacks had touchdowns in this game.
When do you see that? And it was a pretty
wild, right?
Pretty well
it's
played game
unbelievable.
too. Yeah, we had a couple of instances where they were like down inside the 5-yard line, but just couldn't punch it in. Crazy game. Congrats to Canton, LA, getting overtime victories. Mike, we now move to maybe a new segment. I think we need Cliff Allen here every week. Yeah, special teams. That's what this is all about. Let's go to Buffalo, where the Florida Storm were taking on the Queen City Corsairs. Ron Cochran just showing off, jumping pump fake across his body to E.J. Minson to get us going on the opening drive. The red alert aways. Looking sharp for Florida. Ron Cochran now inside the 15-yard line finds Stephen Bush for the touchdown. Florida set the tone early. They go up 7-0 more. Ron Cochran later in the quarter almost gets nailed. E.J. Minson, I don't know how he got out of that. PI called, maybe called on the Queen City defenders running into each other on that one. 14-0 early Florida, but Trellis Blanton not to be denied. James Matthew Jr., he was impressive in this one. Got a touchdown, robbed from him earlier in the game on a reverse challenge, but nearly got another one there. 14-7, third and goal. And who says you can't get goal line stands in this league, Mike? What a play by Ryan Tobin. Forces a Queen City field goal. 14-10 now. Adrian Ellis gets free just before the half, down 21-10. But again, Queen City has to settle for 3. Made it 21-13. Field goals, not touchdowns, huge difference in this game. But, Mike, the difference in the game was this component for the Florida Storm, Art Vandelay on the return just before the half.
Out of the end zone. I mean, let's really, really talk about this. Out of the end zone right now, breaks a tackle, dodges a defender right there, takes it all the way down to the end zone. And what a play there. Art Vandelay, man. Florida looking to be really, really, really good 2 weeks into this. And Queen City, they played really, really good too. It was a close first half, but this is what you're talking about, Cam.
No, it's not the same highlight. It's Caleb Giffis later in the game, beating the kicker down the sideline, and Caleb Giffis goes untouched. Florida, the first team in SFL history with 2 different players with a kickoff return touchdown in the same game, and Bullet Boletsky would cap it off. Quiet day for Bullet. Only 93 yards on 30 carries. Queen City added a garbage time touchdown, but Florida runs away with it 42-29. Yeah, special teams. How about this classic? Minnesota and Alamo City. Talk about 2 teams that look like they are going to be in the playoffs for sure. I know it's early. 1, Mississippi with the interception for Minnesota. And then back the other way, Stephen Fellows with the sack on 3rd and goal to make it just 3-0 Minnesota in the second quarter. And that's when Alamo City got busy.
And who made these quotes, right?
Yeah, this game really felt like tug of war, Cam. Like this game really, really felt like tug of war. It's back and forth, 2 powerhouse teams. And look, what would you say? What was that saying from the convention that we heard all the time, Cam?
Do you want me to say it again? Yeah,
I want you to say it.
Yeah.
Special teams. There we go. We need Cliff Allen. We need to pipe him in here in the audio.
Kenny Hendricks getting the artillery crowd fired up. Finally, a touchdown in this one, 7-3 in the second quarter. And Colin Hart says, well, if no one else is going to get the offense moving, I will. The crazy thing about this, Mike, was that this was really Colin Hart's only big run of the game. He got him down inside the 10. Minnesota had to settle for a field goal to make it 7-6. But Hart and Brad Jones for that matter, mostly kept in check.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, Alamo City did a really good job coming out and stopping the run. And this is what we're seeing. I mean, we just saw it with the Queen City, Florida game. I mean, Bullet Boletsky, kept under 100 yards right here. Colin Hart, I mean, that was his one big run, but Alamo City kept him in check. So I think that the running back thing is going to tame off a little bit, and I think Alamo City does a good job keeping everything. Oh, it's a great play right here. Yeah, they did a really good job balancing it out.
Garrison Blue wide open. Somebody cover the tight end. More from tight ends later in this game. It's a quiet week for tight ends in general, but not in this one. 14-6 Alamo City. Now Johnny Reno. Vin Calia steals it out of the sky to cut the deficit to 2. One of the best catches we saw all weekend.
That's why they brought him here. I mean, look, Vin Calia is one of the best to do it in the past few seasons, and there's a reason Minnesota picked him up.
Another look at it. Vin, oh my gosh, just takes it right away.
Effortless.
From the defender. Effortless is a great word. Down by 2 late in the third quarter. Still same possession, 14-12. Minnesota going for the tie late in the third. Johnny Reno going to dump it off to Colin Hart. Look at him sneak in. Nobody's touching me. Tie game at 14. Great awareness from Colin Hart. Did not have a huge statistical day, but got 2 huge points there. Now, fourth quarter, 14-14. Johnny Reno finds a wide open tight end. Jason Franz, go, you got to get your speed up. Go. Yogi Barr catches him at the 3-yard line. Jason Franz, who is just that big in person. Yeah, you got to get back on the treadmill. 21-14. How about this aggressive play from Alamo City? Under 4 minutes, down 7. Hank Earl Troll with the tight end catch. Now tied at 21. Ace Fennick staying aggressive. And down near the goal line finds Kenny Hendricks, who had the kick return touchdown earlier in the game. And what do you do if you're trying to be a champion, Mike? You don't settle for pointless field goals. You go for something like this on the half-yard line. Watch this block from Brad Jones right there. Frees up Ace Fennick, totally fools the defense. Kendra Wells in the corner. Just sensational with 12 seconds left.
Alamo City really putting it all together on the field. And, I mean, this was the difference maker. Little plays like that little chip block, to kind of stunt the defensive end from getting to Fennick, and really does a good job getting it to Kendra Wells.
Last second effort is overthrown for Minnesota, and Alamo City comes all the way back and beats Minnesota 28-21. We check in for the first time this season, with Ashley Jackson on PGI with Beau Martin Jr.
Welcome back to PGI, and I am joined with another good friend of mine, Mr. Beau Martin Jr., also known as Thick and Juicy. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, AJ. How are you? It's good to see you.
It's good to see you, too. He is co-owner as well as El Presidente of the Alamo City Artillery, coming off a fantastic win. I see y'all over there firing all cannons and,
Listen, I'm going to tell you what, sitting at 2-0 is the bomb. You understand me? Pun intended. I'm so happy, that we were able to pull out the win against a really, really good Minnesota Legend team. They gave us everything we could handle. Ain't no need me trying to front like that was an easy win. But at the end of the day, we'll take the W.
Indeed. What do you think is going to be something that you will want to work on for your next game, for your next opponent?
Yeah, so we're heading to the bye week, so we got a little bit of time to get prepared for our next opponent. But I'll tell you, this week was a great example of us just pulling out a scrappy win, because there was nothing really super extraordinary about our win. It was a true team effort. Everybody contributed in one way or another. Our offensive line was dominant. That's probably one of the biggest things. They made great holes for Brad to run through, and he was able to rack up crazy yards like he's known to do. And they kept Ace relatively clean and mistake free, minus the one mistake early in the game. And defense played lights out. I mean, real quick, I know you asked what we can do better, and I'll get to that in a moment. Defense played lights out. Shout out to my entire linebacking core. They held it down in the middle and kept the running back in check. And Colin Hart, I mean, he's going to get his regardless. Everybody knows that, but overall kept him in check, I'll say. We had a really good day. What I would like to see us do better, our receivers were able to get involved, and they really came through and saved us. If you watch the game back, they really came through and saved our butts towards the end of the game when we really needed our receivers. And that's what I love about our receivers. They play their role, they know their parts, and when they were called upon, every single one of them answered. I believe, if I remember correctly, I think all of our receivers had at least one reception. And that's what you call a team effort. I mean, right on down through our tight end 1 and our tight end 2, everybody had a reception, and it was just an all-around team effort. Shout out to Kenny Hendricks, my rookie wide receiver, who is also involved in our return game, who ran a return back for a touchdown. Kudos to him. Welcome to the SFL, young man. We got big things. We know you got big things planned for us, and we are here for the ride, my brother. And but what I'd like to see happen is I'd like to see our wide receivers get a little bit more involved throughout the game, because I know we have the most explosive set of wide receivers and tight ends in the game. And if you get them involved, in addition to Brad Jones, we're going to be a really difficult team to stop. So I want to see them get involved early, often, and throughout.
All right, then. Well, I'm looking forward to see what is up your sleeve for the next basically throughout the whole season. And I know this won't be the last time I have you on here, Beau. So thank you so much for your time, brother. I really appreciate it.
Hey, keep an eye on us. We about to blow up.
Well, all right. Good luck with the rest of the season, brother.
Boom.
Great interview there by Beau. By the way, just a couple of programming notes. If you've never done a PGI with Ashley Jackson, you totally should. It's so much fun to see everybody's faces, get their reactions to the game. Something, our last word on Alamo City, Minnesota before we move on, Mike, but something that is very interesting what Beau said. He talked about team. He talked about the receivers getting, everybody getting a catch. Everybody being involved. Alamo City's the deepest team in the league. Some teams may tell their locker rooms, hey, we're just not going to be able to get all you involved. Sorry. And if you don't like it, tough. But not Alamo City. And in this game, Yayo Montana, who led them in receiving in week 1, he went down with an injury, and they still won, right? So, what did you think about Alamo City's performance in general and what you've seen out of them in the first 2 weeks?
I mean, depth. That is it. And I think that Alamo City really embodies, the change and where we're heading, where the SFL is heading. And I think that they do a really good job at getting everybody involved. And it's really hard to defend, just coming, from somebody on the coaching side of it. It's really hard to defend whenever the opposing team is getting everybody involved. Their 4th, 5th, 6th receivers, backup, or second tight ends, third tight ends. When you have that many players getting involved on the other side of the field, it is really, really hard to become one-dimensional as an offense. So I definitely think kudos to AACA for putting that together, and I think they're doing a great job.
All right, some rapid-fire time on some routes here. Let's start with Sioux Falls and San Diego. The Mavericks force a new era record 8 interceptions in the second half route. Sioux Falls outscored 52-7 in the second half of games this season. Mike, why do you think that is?
Depth. I mean, we just talked about it with ACA. I mean, I think depth. Sioux Falls is a thin team. They've got talent, no doubt. They've got talent, right? But they're thin. And so, whenever you start getting into the later quarters of the game, I think that you start to see the attributes. I think you start to see the physique of these players start to taper off a little bit and wear down. It's natural when you're on the field. I think that's it. I think there's nothing else that you could look at or pinpoint for Sioux Falls. So I think it goes back to depth.
Sioux Falls has looked pretty good in first halves. They've definitely held their own on the field. They just haven't been able to withstand it over a whole game. San Diego's defense gets those 8 picks. King Bradshaw had a couple. Bob Funk had a couple. You're the coach of San Diego. Your general thoughts on your defensive effort and what happened to the offense in this game that where the defense really had to pick you up?
Yeah, often sputtered and really couldn't find life until the second half. And that's definitely something we have to look at. But defensively, I I think that we kind of had an idea of where Sioux Falls was going to go, and we just played back and trusted our receivers or our defensive backs to really kind of sit back and trust that they're going to throw the ball. I think that we were definitely worried and concerned, and you saw that in the run game. We had a reason to be. They did great on the run game. Sioux Falls did. I think that if they would have stuck to that, we might have been looking at a different outcome. But I think that we just happened to have the upper hand in that game.
Late last night in the nightcap, Arizona took out Tulsa despite a DJ Moses injury. But the balanced game plan for Arizona helped him go to 2-0. Justin Williams, he has 5 rushing touchdowns as a fullback this year. Probably one of the more underrated headlines. And there's no hangover for Arizona, Mike. I mean, hey, I thought it. Look, maybe it's going to take Eddie Gage and Arizona a little bit of time. They got off to a late start this offseason, but Arizona's been impressive.
Yeah, and while we're on this topic, quick shout out, really quick. Couple teams, Arizona and Vancouver, I both thought that they would take some time to get up there, and I revoke. I think both of those teams look great. Speaking on Arizona for right now, Arizona looks really, really good. I loved, Cam, that they went to the fullback the rest of the drive that DJ Moses got hurt on. They went to the fullback every single run on that drive to finish out and cap out that drive with a touchdown. I think that that's huge for Arizona. They did a great job.
Yeah, it just goes, a lot of times you would see, in prior years, you would see a running back go down, and that's it, because they have no other way to diversify their run game, and Arizona was able to do that. Okay, so interesting game, fascinating game. Motor City improves to 2-0. Noe Terrasas sets the receiving yards record. He did it in the third quarter. An amazing accomplishment for Terrasas and the V8s for that matter, 56-42 over Jacksonville. How will this game be remembered, though? We saw the same play ad nauseum getting called over and over and over again. It wasn't necessarily the best game of the weekend. It wasn't necessarily good football, Mike, but Motor City did pull out the win, and Michael Brown, it's just phenomenal. I mean, he showed that he could hit those passes. Noe Terrasas showed that he was a valuable pickup in this offseason as well. But how do you look at what we saw on the field? A very complicated game to break down, Mike.
It's touchy, Cam. I think it's really touchy because, first of all, I will say congratulations to Motor City. Congratulations to Noe Terrasas. Don't want to take anything away from that. The way that I can look at it is, kudos to Motor City for finding something that worked. But it's a shame that it took away the entertainment aspect in the game of football. And it's just a shame that it had to kind of happen like that. They got the win. They go to 2-0. But I definitely think that both of these teams, we were all excited going into this matchup with both of these teams being 1-0, right? And we were like, this is a new era. And I think that there's a lot left to be desired of this matchup. And, I think that realistically, it's going to be interesting to see what these teams do moving forward. I think Jacksonville has a great-looking team. I think Jacksonville did a really, really good job out there. For Motor City, all I can hope for is that they find some diversity in their playbook.
I'd love to see these two teams in the playoffs because we deserve to have that matchup again, I think. Let's go back to Ashley Jackson, who had Eddie Gage, caught up with Eddie Gage after Arizona's win over Tulsa.
Welcome back to PGI, where I am joined with Mr. Eddie Gage. He is co-owner of the Arizona Scorpions, as well as Hall of Fame shown safety, head coach, and 2-0. Man, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. So, Coach, I had to stop and get your feedback on something. You faced a lot of scrutiny this past offseason. You were very vocal about not liking the game that we're playing now, and people were naysayers. People didn't think that you had it in you. People said that you lost your heart, you lost your way, and now you sit 2-0. What do you have to say to those individuals, and how do you feel about this moment right now?
I mean, I guess I really don't have anything to say to him. I mean, like I tell you guys in the locker room, it doesn't matter what anyone outside of our locker room think. As long as you guys still have confidence in me and what I can do and the passion that I have to compete and to play and to scout and coach and run sims and do what I have to do to find a way to get a W, nothing else matters. As long as you guys still have confidence in me, that's all I need. I mean, it'd be nice, to have everybody, rooting for you and all that stuff, or, to have that belief in you. But when you hear that others don't, it's just part of the game, and you just deal with it as it comes. But like I say, only thing that matters is us, and everything else is irrelevant.
Gotcha. Speaking of us, DJ Moses went down this season. And
Yeah.
how did the team react to see him laying there on the field? How did that whole thing go?
It's one thing to get hurt late in the game, but to get hurt early when the game is still in a balance, and I think we were down at the time when he got hurt. But Will Todd, shout out to our new team president. He was the first one to say, "Hey, next man up." He didn't flinch. Everybody kind of said, "Oh no," when it happened, but he was the first one to say, "All right, guys, let's focus on the end goal." And DJ's hurt, but we got Justin Williams back there who doing his thing so far this season, and we got Ashley Jackson still throwing the ball around the field. So let's just rally and find a way to get this W. So shout out to Will for not allowing us to hang our heads and stay focused.
Last question. Next opponent, what are you most concerned with?
Seattle has an eager coach with top attack, and he's out here to prove something. And they're scoring 30+ points a game right now. So they're 1-1. Had 2 close games, but they already out to a better start than they had last season, and I'm sure that they're gonna come with it, week 3. So another road game for us, and got to try to find a way to get a W.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it, brother.
For sure.
Can't wait to see what the Scorpions have up their sleeves for the rest of the season.
All right, back to the highlights here on This Week in the SFL with Cam and Mike O'Neill. Let's go to Indianapolis, where Jordan Sipe was disoriented by those pants early. Ernest McCray Sr. takes it all the way. What a return. Probably the best pick 6 return of the season in Indianapolis. Takes a 7-0 lead in the first minute of the game. But Jordan Sipe would bounce back. This was the drive of Terrell Cooper. He was ridiculous. There's his first catch, and he'd have 2 more before he found the end zone, Mike.
Yeah, Terrell Cooper did a really, really good job on this drive specifically. But, shout out, not to take any credit away, Ernest McCray Sr., that was an incredible pick 6, the way he dodged out and ran it all the way back for his team. But, man, how about those pants, Cam? How about those pants?
It takes guts. I know that if I wore them out in public, the public would put me back home. Jordan Sipe, Terrell Cooper back of the end zone. 3 consecutive catches for Coop. He ties the game at 7. What a way to bounce back for Jordan Sipe. And the bench loves it as well. Second quarter now. Sipe in a tied 7-7 ball game, looking for more. But instead, it's Jack Russell, the former London Knight, picking it off. Mexico City hurt by the turnover bug so far this season. They got to clean it up. Sipe this time finds Bill Henry. It's a fumble and picked up. Look at the effort there really quickly to bounce back up on that football. Bill Henry saved by a teammate. Jordan Sipe, touchdown number 2 into the end zone. 14-10, Mexico City leads. That's Jason Bartley posing for the camera just before the end of the first half. Third quarter now, Indianapolis getting moving. It's shocking, Mike. We went a whole half without mentioning Ryan Roosevelt. There he is with his first catch of the game to the Mexico City 30. This was a really good, nice, balanced drive for Indy to get him the lead back.
Yeah, Ryan Roosevelt, I mean, was an absolute monster last season, and it's good to see that Ryan Roosevelt is back in true form, really showed some flashes. They haven't really targeted him that much, which I guess is props to Indianapolis, right? You know, you don't have to rely on him so much. They're really doing a good job spreading the ball around. And as for Mexico City, Jordan Sipe really kind of struggled out the gate, but really found some footing, and this became pretty close, pretty quick.
That's Jeff Bamfield with the catch, and then Christian Pierce finishes off the drive, tells Chad Rowland to get out of the way. You're doing nothing for me. Just stick to carrying the ball as a lineman, I guess. 24-17, blitz! Whoa! Just left them all alone. They rough up Jordan Sipe, but doesn't matter. Terrell Cooper again with the touchdown, ties the game at 24. More on that in a minute. 45 seconds to go. Jordan Sipe trying to get down the field. Nice catch. Terrell Cooper again. Down 3, though, after Indianapolis got a field goal on the previous possession. So now Mexico City in scoring range with 10 seconds to go. Trying to get closer, trying to get something to the sidelines. And we saw him in the combine, Mike. Melodious Manning sits down and picks off the pass with 3 seconds left. And Mexico City goes home 0-2.
You know what is crazy here, Cam? We watched him in the combine, right? Melodious Manning is undersized. He is an undersized safety, and the fact that he was able to jump that route or be right in position there, I mean, I love seeing rookies make moves like this and seeing, rookies get involved. And, man, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to start calling Terrell Cooper Nice Catch Cooper. That's it. I'm just going to start calling him Nice Catch Cooper. I think that one's going to stick, Cam.
Some receivers really showed out this week in week 2, getting that pass game going and finding that balance. So that was Indianapolis's first win of the season. They desperately needed that. I don't know what's going on in the Central, Mike, because nobody's over 500. Minnesota and Indy are at 1-1. Of course, Minnesota's only win is against Indianapolis, and then Tulsa and Sioux Falls are 0-2. They gotta get it together. But we can't leave the show without talking about this game. Seattle at Fort Worth. Type attack, the number 1 pick. It's John Fullerton. Late in the first quarter, this game was a little slow getting going, but it really heated up. The former Toro with the catch down at the 2-yard line. At the end of the first quarter, it's type attack handing off to Baloo Scott. She punches it in for a score. 7-3 Seattle in their Stormtrooper away uniforms in Fort Worth, trying to pull the upset. 6.5-point dogs on the road. Second quarter, Marcus Dunhill under center, hands it off to Jay-Z Bacon, and he sizzled. Bowls over a defender, and he's out of here. TJ Harper can't catch him. 10-7 Fort Worth, but Jay-Z Bacon, he was just getting started in the first half. Here he is again doing that, and then that, and then whoop, right on the sideline. There's no other sound effect good enough for that run. Jay-Z Bacon scores 17-10 Fort Worth with 3 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, Jay-Z Bacon was really, really quickly a problem, and Seattle really just didn't have an answer early on, and I think their offense really kept him in there, but they've got to put all defenders on Jay-Z Bacon in order to make it happen, and they just couldn't do it. I mean, Jay-Z Bacon was just proven too strong.
Aaron Alexander on that play, you just admire the hustle because he was looking for a block the whole time. Finally found one late with TJ Harper, and at the end of the play, he probably went to the sideline and said, you see that block? Type attack now in the end zone. That's a touchdown. Christian Bachagalupi, he's never late to the show. Tie game at 17 with 1 minute to go in the second quarter. Then 11 seconds later, toss out the Bacon. Fumble! Picked up by Seattle, and they get the momentum back just at the end of the first half. The Nemesis are looking strong. Type attack. Touchdown, T. DeQueen. She wears the crown well. 24-17, Seattle up 7 going into the second half. The Nemesis feeling it until Adam Leach takes it right back. Great coverage from Fort Worth. He is going down to the 40-yard line. Fort Worth's got the ball back, down just 4. 4 minutes to go in the third. Now up 27-24 in the fourth quarter. Type attack again. Finds T. DeQueen on a jump ball beauty over Aiden Davis, and Seattle puts 30 on 30 to take the lead again.
Yeah, it was a really good job. I mean, T. DeQueen really just showing out. She was kind of quiet last season, but, I mean, 2 touchdowns here in this one game, and I'm just showing exactly why Seattle favors her so highly.
Dunhill all kinds of time, and then Doug Day blows up Cade Stevens and gets called for the pass interference. Just lackadaisical there from Day, and that puts Fort Worth in scoring position. Now 3rd and goal. Cade Stevens with his revenge. Dunhill takes a lick, and Stevens with the catch in traffic. Fort Worth takes the lead, 34-31. Now type attack on a 4th down. Last chance down the field. Knocked away from Polly Truth, and Fort Worth gets the win, 34-31. Polly Truth stopped by to talk about the close loss with AJ.
Welcome back to PGI, and I am joined here with a good friend of mine, Mr. Polly Truth. He is one of the owners of the Seattle Nemesis, as well as jack of all trades, I should say. Do a little bit of everything, to help the team be successful. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Ashley. Appreciate you having me here for the PGI, and yeah, just try to do a little bit of everything all thrown into one and try to help the team go out there and get a win, which unfortunately week 2 just wasn't able to get it done. It was close. It was so close.
It was. 27-24, guys kept it close the whole time. You're definitely showing prowess. You're definitely showing a positive difference in comparison to seasons past. So tell me, what is different besides the new game that we're playing? What is different about the Seattle Nemesis this year that seems to surpass the others previous seasons?
So this season compared to last, it's been a big emphasis on the group effort. We have people chiming in all over our team to help us kind of take that next step in becoming a better team and a better franchise in this league. And just having that extra help from all angles on the team has just really helped this offseason, and it's already even showing here early into this new season already.
Absolutely. I think you have been one of the more vocal owners when it comes to representing the team. So what is going to be your motto for this season?
Oh man, as far as a motto, we have to continue to just go out there and leave it all on the field and do whatever we can week in and week out to just improve every single day. It's not just a every week type deal. We always are looking to get better and doing whatever we can each and every day to improve our team and improve our chances going into each game each week.
All right. Well, I'll be looking forward to seeing what the Seattle Nemesis do for the rest of the season, how you guys fare. Good luck to you. And I'll be seeing you out there, Paulie.
Absolutely, Ashley. Always interested to see what the Scorpions are going to do. And hey, next week it's going to be a fun one.
Indeed. I can't wait to have you back on so we can talk it up. All right. All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. Ashley's the best. Thank you so much once again for all the post-game interviews this week. And Paul Sarp will be here for the call as soon as he getting in his car and getting up to the press box right about now. But DC and Atlanta coming up before we get to the preview of that game. Fort Worth wins 2 games in 2 different styles. They self-destruct Mexico City and just totally bludgeon them. And then the next week against Seattle, they win in a shootout where their defense wasn't necessarily getting all the stops, but Jay-Z Bacon came alive. So that's pretty impressive that they were able to do it in 2 different ways, 2 different weeks.
Yeah, they've definitely been one of the teams that people are talking about. As they say, the streets are talking. Yeah, they're talking about Fort Worth right now, 2-0, doing it in different ways. Marcus Dunhill's looked really clean. He's looked really good, and we've known Marcus Dunhill of the past to be a little bit of a gunslinger, right, Cam? He's looked really good. They've got Jay-Z Bacon going on the ground. I mean, really, they're firing on all cylinders. Defense looks great for sure.
Seattle type attacks development. He looks pretty good. He's really kind of taken the reins on the field of that franchise. And it's been everything you could want out of a number 1 pick. And if he continues down this way, Mike, it may be one of the best number 1 picks in league history if you had a redraft.
I mean, he has been unbelievable. on and off the field for that organization. Really, let's just talk about his on-field play. I mean, just against Fort Worth, who is a really, really credible defense, 65% completion, right? And just does a really, really good job. Just killing it. I mean, he's got 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on the season, which the numbers don't stand out that much, but when you watch him on the field, he just looks like he brings some life to Seattle. I mean, it really, really is a great pickup from Seattle. They've done a really good job this entire offseason to kind of rebrand that organization and build it up, and it's got a fire under them. So, I would definitely say watch out. One thing I think they could improve on, though, defensively, they need to get stronger, Cam. They've got to get stronger. They're fast, but they've got to get stronger.
Yeah, they're fast, light, athletic team, but they're not winning any battles in the trenches. That's what's holding them back just a little bit right now. And imagine, Mike, if last season type attack would have had a +2 touchdown interception ratio, we'd be talking about MVP. and here we are 2 weeks into season 21, and we're like, yeah, it's okay.
It's good.
We have a number of quarterbacks that have not thrown a pick yet in 2 weeks, and that is just
it's amazing.
It's a nice refresher. Paul Sarp will be here in a moment to talk about DC and Atlanta. That broadcast is on a different live stream, so make sure that you get over there after this week in the SFL is done. DC and Atlanta, your Monday night spectacular game of the week this week. Tyler Falk and Chris Curtis will be here for halftime and postgame. O'Neill joined us here on This Week in the SFL, and then Paul Sarp will be my analyst for that ball game. But before we get to DC and Atlanta, your final thoughts just on week 2, Mike. We've seen week 1, convention week. We've now seen week 2, and we've seen the adjustments. What stood out to you?
Oh, man, just the across the board play. I think it is significantly getting better, and I think that it is so easy to overreact to all of the rushing yards and all of the broken tackles, and we've seen a significant increase from week 1 to week 2. So I think that my final thoughts for week 2 is, well done. I tip my hat to the coaches. Well done, because we saw some diversity. We saw, great running backs held to nothing, and we saw average running backs take off. So, it is, I think the future's bright for the SFL this season, and I can't wait to see what's going on next week.
And we saw some games that were just a pleasure to watch. I mean, just really organic, terrific football. So, yeah, I echo those sentiments. Tip of the cap to the coaches. Again, your Retroid nice hands catch of the week goes to Harish Prasad in Carolina's 30-23 victory over Baltimore. All right, DC and Atlanta coming up, Mike. Atlanta has not started 0-2 since season 12. DC has not started 0-2 since they rejoined the league in season 16. One of them is going 0-2 tonight. It's the Destro show in terms of uniforms this evening. A couple pretty good looking uniforms out there tonight. But for these two teams, they're just trying to get better after close week 1 losses. What are your keys tonight?
Oh, man, the matchups to watch around the SFL, matchups to watch right here live for you. So I'll say this. I think DC's corners and defensive backs are physical, and I think that they're going to lock down these wide receivers of Atlanta. I think the key is going to be why not Airlet for Atlanta. I think if the tight end gets involved, right, like it did last week, I think that Atlanta really, really opens up the passing game, which opens up naturally BDG Hollywood. And on the other side, I think that DC needs to do that. They have to lock down these Atlanta receivers if they want. I mean, all eyes are going to be on Jadoobie-Doo, rookie corner, right? DC has got to play defense. They've got to play physical, and they've got to hand the ball off to Mr. Kevin Say.
How fun is it that we get Boo Chisholm versus Jadoobie-Doo? Like you want to talk about eras clashing? Doo.
Yeah, it's great.
The expectations for him are so high. Boo Chisholm obviously is a terrific guy. I love what DC showed in the run game in week 1. Chuck Stellar and Kevin Say, really balanced effort, and both ran the ball really well. But their passing game seemed a little bit stale, lacking of variety, right, Mike? So I'd like to see Shabazz Synergy, kind of open things up again for DC. And Atlanta, are they going to try and force the issue with BDG Hollywood, or are they going to let things just come naturally to him? That's going to be really interesting. That game with Louisiana last week was just a total bloodbath. DC better. DC better be. Yeah, DC better be ready because Atlanta can hit, man. Atlanta can hit. So this is going to be a fun one. First time Atlanta has ever welcomed DC to the Hive. So this is going to be great. DC and Atlanta coming up. Mike, thanks for joining us here on This Week in the SFL for week 2 in season 21. It was great having you along. Thanks for continuing to help out our Monday Night Spectacular crew and coverage all year long. And I'm kind of bummed we didn't get a live appearance from Doug Day. He let me down.
Oh, I know. Well, he's right over here. I think that he could pop in really quick if he's right around the corner.
You know, we don't have all day.
Oh, well, he ghosted us. I'm sorry.
Doug
Day ghosted us. Let the chat be known.
He's too busy carrying the 10 pizzas that he just brought into the studio. So
yeah, he came in. We came here with 4 pizzas. Whoa, what was that? What is that I see? Whoa, there he is.
There he is.
There
What's
he
up,
is.
Doug? You love that. You love the cameos on This Week in the SFL. You never know what's going to happen. For Mike O'Neill, I'm Cameron Irvine. We'll see you on the other stream, DC and Atlanta coming up Monday Night Spectacular. Again, huge shout out to Skippy, $99.99 super chat. That stayed up on the screen the whole show, and she totally mossed everybody else. Totally just called you all out. All right, Mike, let's get ready for a great Monday night game. We'll see you guys in a minute.